Welcome. Welcome to Stress Less to Age Less. And this is a masterclass and a mini retreat. So we're going to do some presentation and then many things that are experiential. So let's start with a little movement because you've likely been sitting all day. So we're going to start standing, and I'm just going to move my chair out of the way. And this is a little exercise. It's kind of cute. It opens up the chakra centers and it will allow you to be more receptive to my teachings of today. So we're going to start by grounding, and we're going to start with like a little march. It's kind of like a march, but like a heavy march, and just kind of let everything swing. Let your feet really stomp on the ground and just feel yourself connecting with the energy of the earth. And then kind of come to stillness, but with knees soft. Come into your hips. We're coming to this root chakra. And just kind of roll your hips around. If they've been sitting all day, you haven't gotten much movement in the hips. And you can take it to the other side as well. And then place your hand on your lower belly and just kind of rub your lower belly, your second chakra. So this is your energy center for creativity and for life energy. So we want to awaken that for our Stress Less to Age Less masterclass and mini retreat. Come up to your third chakra here at the solar plexus and just move the energy up. Our center for empowerment. So tapping into our personal power to help us stress less and age less. Come into the heart center and let's turn the key to the heart. And as you do that, you can see it brings a little smile to your face. So go ahead and turn up the volume on the heart energy. And then opening up our throat chakra, just a little gentle opening so that we have a clear voice of expression. And let's do the jaws a little bit as part of the throat chakra and the back of the neck a little bit. Come into our center of intuition, bing, for wisdom. So there will be a lot of wisdom imparted today, and I want you to be able to receive it. And then finally come to the crown of the head, and just at here, just massage just gently the crown chakra so that we can be truly connected and open to receive. Take a deep breath in. And then let's take our seat. Very good. So I have a question for you. Raise your hand if you're here because you've been feeling a little stressed over the last year. I know I have. And if you were to put that on a scale of 1 to 10, what level would you say? I would say 6. Definitely more than normal. But for some of you, it could be a 7. For some of you, it could be a 10. I have many clients who said their stress was like a 10 this year between jobs and the pandemic and the political environment and racial injustices and craziness and being cooped up at home and eating too much and just all of these things that take us out of our norm raise our stress levels. So, yeah. So I invite you for today, for this masterclass and mini retreat, to turn up the volume. I invite you to set an intention, and that intention is something I call the 3 T's. Number 1, tune in. So for that, I want you to be all present. And one way is to turn off the cell phone. So turn it off so you don't get any calls coming through. You can actually put your do not disturb on so that we don't get disturbed by somebody else's priority just for this 1 hour. And then I invite you to turn up the volume. And that means to just turn up the engagement during the session. So you're at home, you're watching this, and I'm not there with you, but I am there with you. So imagine that we are together in one place and you are learning this information and you are experiencing these practices, and just be present. Turn up the volume till you're being present. And the third T is transformational willingness. Be willing to be transformed by this experience, right? It'll be some wisdom, some practices, but enough that you can transform from your current state of stress. You may be stressed because you've been running around all week, to a little lower octave, right? And even if you're not feeling stressed right now, just know that there's an inherent stress that's within all of us from all of these changes and uncertainties that have happened in the last year and are still continuing, right? So my intention is for you to leave here today feeling calm and relaxed and knowing 3 tools that can help you to stress less once you're out in the midst of your life's challenges. And when we talk about how we age and aging gracefully and being ageless, stress is one of those factors that's important for that, but it's not the only one. But it is a key factor to the aging process, and that's why I want to focus on that first. So with all of that introduction being said, let me introduce myself. I am Zana Clark. I am a functional integrative nutritionist and a Foodist medicine chef, but also a dream builder coach. So I help people reconnect, rediscover their dreams, and create lives that they love. And I infuse all of that with my background as a Kundalini yoga instructor. And you will get to experience a little bit of some Kundalini yoga in this because it's very good for the nervous system, for the endocrine system, 2 of the major systems that are involved in the stress pathways. Okay, so I'm going to start our presentation. And as I do that, let me ask you one more question. Raise your hand if you would like to stress less and age less. And that's why you're here. Yes, I'm curious. I'm here. So let me get our slideshow pulled up and give me just a moment. Take a breath while I do this. Okay, so we are here to talk about stressing less and aging less. 3 keys to vibrant calm, both today and going forward in the future. I want to start out with a few statistics, and then I will have you focus on the ladies in the picture. So primarily this talk is geared towards women. If you are a man and you are listening to this, that is perfectly okay. The information will apply to you as well. But there are a lot of statistics on the detrimental effects of stress, especially on women. And there was a recent study that came out that showed that as we age, the effect of the stress hormones on women is actually 3 times more potent than for men. So we're getting like a triple whammy of all of the stress hormones and the effects of those hormones on our body, on our organs. And another study came out and it was looking at telomeres, which are on your genes, and they shorten as you age, and they shorten based on certain environmental or endogenous factors that cause us to age faster. And so they were looking at the effect of stress on the telomeres on immune cells of women. And they found that the stress was so detrimental that it was causing women to age by 10 years. So that's huge, right? So if we're 50 and all of a sudden we're starting to look and feel like we're 60 as a result of this, that's pretty scary. So third study, which was a Harvard study, was looking at the effect between the brain and the body. And they were looking at how stress, when there's a stressful event and the stress hormones, which I'm going to explain all about all of this, the stress hormones are secreted, they affect your amygdala. And the amygdala is that part of the brain right in the back of the head where the back of the head meets the nape of the neck. And it is our emotion center. So we house a lot of emotions there. They determine that that gets activated by stressful events and our response to stressful events. And it triggers the bone marrow to produce excess white blood cells, which causes arterial inflammation. So it's inflaming your arteries, which leads to heart disease, which is the #1 killer of women in America, is heart disease. 1 in 4 women will die of heart disease. So that's an appalling number. And we know that stress and the stress hormones trigger obesity, hypertension, prediabetes, inflammation, anxiety, depression, Alzheimer's, blood sugar issues, all of these risk factors for heart disease. So that's why stressing less to age less is so important to me. So if you look at this picture of these lovely ladies, and you look, there's a picture of the same woman, one on the left, one on the right. Which one would you like to look like? The one on the left or the one on the right? Which one looks stress less, age less? Yeah. And these are women that they were taken and then they were given some type of stress relief exercise for about an hour or so, and then they took their pictures, their faces again. So it's not a long time difference in between when these pictures are taken, and they look totally different. They look totally different. So yeah, stress does have a huge effect on us, and the good news is that it is reversible. So we're going to shift, and we're going to shift from this data, and we're going to do another little exercise, and we're going to give some love to our heart, right? So we know our heart is at risk with stress, and so we want to give some love to it. So I'm going to have you simply continue to sit, take your left hand and place it on your heart, and take your right hand and place it on top of the left hand. So the left hand represents yin energy, feminine energy, the cooling, calming energy, moon energy. So we want that to be closest to our heart. And we're going to do a breath, a breathing technique called the straw breath. And it's called the straw breath because it's just like you're breathing through a straw. So you want to take a deep breath in and then exhale out through the mouth. Let's take another deep breath in and exhale out through the mouth. Notice the relaxation. Take another deep breath in. And anything that you're holding on to, exhale out through the mouth, through the straw breath. So this is a very good breath to learn and to practice anytime that you're feeling a little overwhelmed, out of sorts, anxious, stressed, not yourself, right? It's one that can be used to even lower blood pressure, like when you're at the doctor's office. There's been stories of people who have used that breath to actually change the numbers between the first measurement and a second measurement. And given about 5 minutes of doing the straw breath, they were able to bring the blood pressure down, which means it really is working on our nervous system. So I want to start with sharing my story, and this will explain a little why this topic is so important to me. Some of you may know, but what I'm doing now is a second career. I had a long 18-year career as an attorney, as a corporate attorney. I was a senior business counsel for General Electric Company, one of their divisions. And I was traveling all over the world with this multinational company. And I would often work early in the morning and then stay late at night. You know how it is, those people in corporate America. There's a lot of corporate stress around that position. And even though I was living the good life, and by many standards, it was the American dream, it wasn't really my dream. It was more like my parents' dream. And that caused me some stress. So for many, many years, I was just living with this stress. And eventually it started showing up in my body. First, I developed hypertension. Then I developed prediabetes. And I actually remember when I was at the doctor's office getting a prescription for the hypertension, I specifically asked the doctor how long I would need to stay on it. And she was like, oh, you'll probably just be on it for the rest of your life. What are you going to do? Change your life? And I was like, the rest of my life? Oh my God, no. So, but notwithstanding that, I had a good job and a good life, and I stuck with it. And, I wanted to at least pay back my student loans. Then one day I found myself in an oncologist's office, and this was after getting a mammogram, and they sent me to get a second check. And when I walked in, there was a sign for oncology, and I was like, what is this all about? I haven't even had a biopsy. Why are they sending me here? And the doctor came in. It was a very kind of cold, sterile environment. You're already nervous, right? You're already nervous. And then the environment is cold and sterile. And this doctor comes in and he starts talking. And he was in the room for about 10 minutes. And he spewed the word cancer so many times that I actually started counting. And I counted 25 times within that time frame. So imagine how you would feel with some doctor spewing that word out that many times. It was a wake-up call for me. It was a call for me to listen to my body, to the fact that symptoms that were showing up in my body were not just symptoms that I was getting a little older. They were signs of stress in my body and my body calling out, right? And those conditions that I had were starting to make me feel old and were actually aging my cells. Yes, I could feel it. I could feel the fatigue. I could feel more brain fog. I could feel more stiffness and achiness in the morning, right? I could feel all of that in my body. So I decided that it was time for me to listen and it was time to make some changes. I needed to learn how to eat, how to live in a way that caused me less stress and made me feel more youthful. And so it took me 6 years. It took me 6 years. I left there. I went on a journey, went back to nutrition school, obtained 3 different masters in wellness coaching and therapeutic herbalism and integrative nutrition. And I had mentors and coaches that I worked with to really find out what was right for me in terms of what to eat and how to eat and when to eat and how to move my body and how much sleep I needed and how much fluid I needed to be taken in. And my mindset, there was a lot of work I needed to do on my mindset and how I thought about things and how I could shift things, all of these things. So it took me 6 long years to do that. However, now that I know it, this is what I share with my clients. And so they're able to reap the benefits in far less than 6 years. It took me 6 years to actually reverse my prediabetes, reverse my hypertension, not have any more cancer scares, but it doesn't have to take anybody else that long. So I want to now share with you an experience that I've discovered from my clients, which is that there's a lot of things that you could do to stress less, but there's really 6 core areas to focus on. And out of those 6 core areas, stress is a key one. And that's why when you get a handle on stress and you understand stress and you have a consistent practice to help you reduce that stress that's multidimensional, then that's when you can really boost yourself up and thrive. So we're talking about going beyond survival. We're talking about really thriving. So today you're going to learn the first core area, which is how to deal with stress, and 3 tools that you can take with you and apply right now to help you stress less and age less. So no, this does not mean that as soon as you get off for this mini retreat and masterclass, you will no longer feel any stress and you will be 10 years younger. No, it does not mean that. But it does mean that you will know what to do. And as long as you are applying it consistently and you have a support structure around you to facilitate that and help you determine what is right for you, that yes, you can learn to react to stress a whole different way, and you can shift the effects of stress on your body. So yes, you are aging less, right? So here's my promise to you. My promise is that today, in these next 45 minutes, you will experience calm. You will leave here with practical tools that you can take with you and apply. And you will have a plan for next steps, right? So that you can stress less to age less. So in a moment, I'm going to kind of share a little bit more data on how the nervous system works, but let's do some movement. And this is a very simple Kundalini Yoga Kriya. So Kriya means it's a movement that has a specific action, a specific effect. And the effect of this one is to actually reset, rebalance your nervous system. And it can be done in just 2 to 3 minutes. So we're going to try that. We're going to stand again. So yeah, we'll do a little bit of up and down, not a lot, a little bit. And we're going to take our arms up above our head. And we're going to just start to shake the wrists. So you're going to shake the wrists, shake the fingers, shake the arms, shake the elbows, right? You can kind of start to get your spine coming in. And first of all, this is releasing a lot of tension that we hold in this upper part of our body. How many of you hold a lot of tension in arms, neck, shoulders, back? Yes, most of us all do that. This is a great one also for releasing the tension in the wrists and reducing the potential of getting carpal tunnel, because now we're sitting at computers all day long and our wrists are like in one position. So just taking 1, 2, 3 minutes out of your day and doing this, and if you can do it more than once a day, it's great. Okay, so now let's start to move the body even a little bit more. And you can see how the shaking movement starts to impact the spine. So the spine is your central nervous system, and we want to kind of free up any stuck energy that's in the spine. We want to kind of create more fluidity in the spinal fluid that runs up and down the spine, through which neurotransmitters and hormones are communicated up and down the spine, and then out from the spine to your peripheral nervous system. So all of that. Okay, last 30 seconds, shake it for all you can. You can even let the hips and the knees and everything kind of get into it. Just let go of the forearm. I cannot see you, so you can do whatever you want to do. You can see me a little bit. And take a deep breath in. And then exhale, bring the energy down, bring the energy down, bring the energy down. Come back to your seat. Close your eyes for just a moment. And just notice how you're feeling. Just notice how you're feeling. Just notice that sense of revitalization, some vitality happening, a little bit increased heart rate, a little bit increased breath rate, but it feels good. It feels very freeing. So that's tool number 1. It's the Kundalini Yoga Kriya to reset the nervous system. And I'm going to take you through a few slides now to explain more about the nervous system, because I was amazed when I realized that we don't just have one nervous system. We have 4 different parts of our nervous system, and they impact almost every organ in the body, and stress impacts the entire thing. So I want to just briefly share that with you before we do some more calming exercises. So in our nervous system, we have the HPA axis, the HPT axis, the enteric nervous system, and we have our autonomic nervous system. So we have 4 nervous systems. The HPA axis is one that deals with the hypothalamus on the top of the head, right at that crown chakra, where in the beginning we were opening it. It's a master gland. It actually connects with what's happening in nature around us, but it then communicates to every other gland in our body, and our glandular system is our hormonal system. Stress impacts the hormonal system directly, because when we feel stress, the first things that get released are stress hormones. So we have your hypothalamus, you have your pituitary gland right here, where I said, bing, our center for wisdom and intuition. It's our pituitary gland right there. It communicates down to your thyroid gland, and it communicates to your adrenal gland. So our adrenal glands manufacture the stress hormones. They also manufacture all of your other hormones, right? So the HPA axis. Then we have the HPT, which is the same, hypothalamus, pituitary, and your thyroid glands, right? How many of us women have thyroid sensitivities? Many, many, many women come to see me with hypothyroid, so underactive, and some with hyperactive, and it can go back and forth, and they have an autoimmune disease related to their thyroid, right? Stress is a key part of that. So I talked about the third one is the enteric nervous system. And this is what we call the second brain, which exists in the gut, or the gut-brain connection from here to here. So we touched on both of those when we did our little chakra grounding exercise, the very first thing that we did today. And the enteric nervous system is a communication pathway between the two. It is connected by a nerve, a large nerve called the vagus nerve, and hormones, neurotransmitters run back and forth between the gut and the brain. So whatever the brain is perceiving or seeing or feeling, it's going to affect your digestive system. Whatever is happening in your digestive system is also going to affect your brain. So when we are perceiving some event that is stressful and we start reacting to that, yes, it's going to affect how well you digest your food, how well you absorb your nutrients, right? Whether or not the microbiota in your digestive tract can make key vitamins and minerals and protective compounds that is needed to keep our body in balance. So there's that direct connection there. And we have our autonomic nervous system. So our autonomic nervous system, people may know, it's like you don't think about your autonomic nervous system. It just happens. And the fight and flight and freeze responses are a part of the autonomic nervous system. Now, I want to show you something on this slide, which is, if you look at the organs, you can see that all the major organs are in play with this system between the brain and down into the gut and below, right? Every single organ is affected. So when we go into a stress situation, we have a stressful event. We're watching CNN, MSNBC, right? We're looking at things on the internet. We're wondering what the president is doing. We're wondering what Dr. Fauci is doing. We're wondering, who we need to stay away from. So all of these thoughts are going into our head. And for most of us, our autonomic nervous system is putting us into freeze, where we don't do anything. We just can't really function. We're kind of slowing down our pace. we're in flight, whereas we're just going, and we're trying to just get away, stay away from everybody and barricade the house in, and nobody comes in and we don't go out, right? So, or we tend to fight, right? There's a lot of that that's happened in 2020 and into 2021 too. So people have a lot of aggression, right? There's a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety, and they're taking it out because they don't have any real outlets for it. So that's all happening in our body, and it affects every single one of those organs that I showed you in the prior chart. Physiologically, that's what's happening in our body. But it also affects us on an energetic. We are physical bodies, we have physiology, but we also have an electrical system, an energetic system. And the energetic systems, interestingly enough, align directly to our physiological system. So in our practice of yoga, we talk about this energetic system as chakras, and the chakras align to the organs. So if you look at this chart on the right, you can see, if we start at the bottom, because that's where we started when we were doing our first exercise, our stomping, ground, and chakra exercise. So that's about survival, right? It's the color red, and it has to do with those lower parts of our bodies, those lower glands, adrenal glands are there. Right above the uterus area is our second chakra. It has to do with our reproductive organs. They're all right in that area. Pleasure, creativity, life energy is happening there. Third chakra, where we're getting into will, is yellow, right? Pancreatic glands there, number one gland to help us regulate blood sugar. The fourth chakra is right here at our heart center with my lovely favorite color of green, and it's dealing with the heart. And then the immune system gland right above the heart is called the thymus, so it's covering both of those glands. When we get up into the throat chakra, we're dealing with our thyroid gland, right? In that sense of, are we really expressing ourselves, or are we holding back? And then when we get up to the sixth chakra, it's that master pituitary gland, and the seventh chakra is where the hypothalamus is. So it's directly tied to our physiology. And these colors are not just coincidental, they just exist in nature, and they exist in food as well. So I love this chart. You probably all have heard something about foods of color, but a lot of times it's from a physiological perspective, and we're looking at different vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals that come from the different colors of the skin of fruits and vegetables. This only exists in the plant world, not in the animal world. But these fruits also relate to the colors of the chakra system and to the organs within those chakra colors. And so you don't want to just eat one or two different colors of foods. You definitely don't want everything to be brown, which on some people's plates, that's what it looks like. Everything is brown or a shade of brown. But we want to have all of these colors. We want to have all of these colors on our plate with every meal. And we want to have all of these colors on our, throughout our day, right? So how many of you, raise your hand again, raise your hand if you have 5 or more colors of food a day as a nutritionist. What about 7 or more colors a day? So how do you get 7? We have 6 on this chart, but we have blue and purple, right? Or white and tan. So we have some variations which can get you 7 different colors a day, right? So this is tool number 2. Tool number 2 is when you eat foods of color, you are helping to calm your nervous system energetically through the chakra system. Yes, you can calm your nervous system to help you stress less. When you eat foods that are processed and made of a lot of chemicals and a lot of white flour and a lot of white sugar, that is going to heighten your stress response, right? That food, when it breaks down in the body, it creates a glycemic response in our bloodstream, which triggers a whole host of stress hormones, thinking your body is in stress and it needs to get away from a stressor. And that's why you're flooding it with so much sugar and glucose. It creates a stress reaction in the body. And every time we have a stress reaction in the body that's affecting those organs, it is affecting the cells of those organs and creating what's called oxidative stress, which is damaging the organs, which is damaging the telomeres, and which is causing a shortening of your life. It is causing aging. And so to reverse that, we do the opposite. Okay? So to help you with this, I actually have provided you a bonus. And the bonus is a packet of a 4-day meal plan, and complete with shopping lists and nutritional information, and of course the recipes with lovely pictures and everything that will help you have the vitamins and the minerals and the phytonutrients that you need to help you stress less and age less. So I want you to enjoy that packet. I want you to go through it, pick out the recipes that you want to make. You can do it as 1 day. You can do it up to 4 days. Some people just like to choose the recipes they like and just make those recipes. That's perfectly okay. But to get the most bang for your buck, I would suggest you try all 4 of the days. Just try all 4 of the days and see how you feel afterwards. See if you feel a little bit lighter, a little bit clearer, a little bit more flexible, right? A little bit less achy and stiff, anti-aging. So this is all great knowledge, right? This is great knowledge. But the key is, can we make this a habit? Can we make this a lifestyle change, a way of living and being? That's where the challenge usually comes in with us. So I want to get up again. We got another tool and another exercise, but let's just stretch a little bit since I've been talking. Let's come to standing, soften your knees, shake it a little bit, and then take a deep breath in. Just bring your hands up over your head, interlace your fingers, and turn your palms up to the ceiling and stretch up. And stretch over to the left side. And stretch over to the right side. Come back to the center and rotate to the right side. And rotate to the left side. Stand all the way up onto your toes and stretch, 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 and release the hands and stretch, stretch, stretch. And now keep your hands where they are. Keep your top of your head where it is. And just try to lower the heels down and feel that nice elongation of the spine and all of those chakras that run along the spine. And then exhale it out, and let's come back down and sit. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So there's another tool that I want to share with you. And this tool is called the 36 breaths. This is a great one to use whenever you find yourself in that fight, flight, or freeze mode, or if you're waking up in the middle of the night and you just are like, oh, my mind is just racing, 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 and you're tossing, turning, tossing, turning, tossing, turning. Do some stretches like I've showed you, and then do this 36 breaths. So this is a practice from my friend, Catherine Wright Desai. She's also a colleague of mine. We do a lot of workshops together. In fact, we've done this workshop together. And she teaches an art form, an ancient art form called Jin Shin Jitsu. And it is the art and science of knowing yourself. It uses mudras, which are practices of the hands, to connect into our nervous system and our emotional system and free us from different blocks. And it uses the hand and the fact that our thumb represents worry, Our index finger represents fear. Our middle finger represents anger, which is why people stick it up so much. The fourth finger, ring finger, represents grief or sadness. And the baby finger represents trying to, right? Where we're really pushing to make some efforts to get something to happen, trying, right? The center of our hand also has significance, and it represents if there's something greater than all of those emotions. There's a source that we can connect to. So we're going to do our exercise with breath. We're going to hold on to each of these fingers, and we're going to do both hands. And we're going to take 3 breaths with each thumb, with each finger. And as you're breathing, and when you exhale, breathe out the emotion that's tied to that thumb. So taking a deep breath in, and exhale, start to breathe out worry. And you can use the straw breath here if you would like. Again, taking a breath in and exhaling out. And once more. And exhale, letting go of any worry. This is your time for you. Bring your finger and hold on to the index finger. Breathing in peace, breathing out fear. Inhaling once again with a sense of peace and comfort. Exhaling out all of these false expectations appearing real, fears. And one more time. Exhale and just let go, let go. And moving into anger. Breathe in that sense of peace and breathe out. Send it all out, any anger that you feel. Deep breath in once again. Releasing, letting go of any anger of yourself. And inhaling and exhaling any anger of anybody else that crosses your path. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And then inhaling, coming to your ring finger. And exhale out any grief, any sadness that we've been holding on to this year, that we've been just burying down inside of us. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Once again, deep breath in and deep breath out. And as you breathe in again, breathe a little smile to your face. As we exhale out with the straw breath, any little remaining bits of sadness we've been tucking away for a rainy day. And then come to your baby finger. And as you exhale, let go of all the trying to. There's no trying to. We're either doing or we're not doing. And we can be comfortable with either one. So breathe in, it's all done, it'll get done. And exhale that word. Let's let go of that word, that trying word. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And one more deep breath in. And exhale, releasing, releasing, releasing. And let's come on to the other hand. And the same thing on this side. Breathing in. Exhale, letting go of worry. Sometimes we still have some worry that's stuck in there. We don't want to let it go. But now we can let it go. We're safe. We're safe. When we're in the present and when we're with our breath, we're safe. We're safe. We're safe. Let go of the worry. And come into the next finger. And as you exhale and you comfort this index finger, letting go of grief, letting go of fear, not grief, fear. Those false expectations appearing real, we just let them go with each breath out. And moving on to any additional anger that's stuck in your muscles and your big muscles, we let that go with our breath. Imagine the anger is coming out, released by cells which get tight when we hold in anger. And now we can let it go, let it go, let it go with the breath. And one more inhale in, breathing in, calm, peace, harmony, connection. Exhaling out, anger, frustration. I'm mad. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And let's come over to the ring finger. And now we are at grief. And we are releasing, letting it go. Sometimes we need to feel, we need to grieve, we need to be sad, but we don't need to hold on to it. We can move through it. And so we take a deep breath in and we exhale with grace as we let go of the grief. And then come into the baby finger once again in this sensation of trying to. How does that feel in our body? When we're trying to do things, just let it go, let it go, let the shoulders drop. And one more deep breath in. So we've let go of these emotions. And now let's just take our hand like this so that we can touch the source spot in both palms at the same time, connecting almost like the infinity symbol. There's a connection to our source, to our true self that knows that we are far more powerful than any circumstance, condition, or situation. And there's always a creative solution to every problem. And there's a higher power that is there to support us. So we connect to source. And then gently bring your hands into prayer position. Connect at the heart center. Bring your fingertips to your chakra of intuition. And release down. Open your eyes. Do you feel calm? Do you feel relaxed? Yeah. So as I promised, I do have a gift for you, and then we'll close for today. But first, I want to do just a quick recap of what we covered today. Right? So we talk about stress, and the stress as being one variable, but a key one to being able to age more gracefully, right? To age less. We talked about how stress affects the telomeres on our cells, and that one study that looked at our immune cells and the fact that they would age 10 years faster in highly stressed women. Do we want that? No. We need our immune cells right now functioning at optimal levels. And we talked about the fact that these stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine, that they all affect women 3 times more than men as we age, right? 3 times more, the triple whammy. And we talked about that we have 4 aspects of our nervous system, and that nervous system interacts with all of our organs, and all of that is affected by stress, especially the heart, right? Our heart center. Our heart is a physiological organ, but it's also an emotional, spiritual organ. And when heart disease is the leading cause of death for women, what is that saying? What is that saying? So we engaged in today some presentation, but 5 stressless experiences, from the grounding exercise that we did, to the calm heart with the straw breath, to the 3 takeaway tools with the Kriya, Kundalini Kriya, to reset our nervous system, with learning about the power of foods of color and how that ties in with the chakras, and this Jin Shin finger exercise that we just did. So we've learned a lot, right? But it's all knowledge, right? And the key is the implementation. The key is the consistency. The key is the changing of the habits so that this becomes a way of not just living, but a way of being. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best, where would you rate yourself on implementation of new knowledge? If you're like me, you might be somewhere around a 4. And then what about consistency of the implement? Some of us are very good. We can implement, but it's like New Year's resolutions. We do it and then we fall off track, and it's so hard to get back on track, right? So where would you rate yourself on consistency? And then what is your vision? So this is a client of mine. I'm going to share a story about her. But what's your vision, right? When you think of stressing less and aging less, what's your vision? Where would you like to be? What would you like to feel like, say 3 years from now? 3 years from now, you've learned these tools, you've implemented, you've been consistent, you have new habits. What do you look like? What does your face look like compared to those ladies in the front? What does your body feel like? What's your energy? What's your clarity? What's your health like? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, where do you want to be? A 10, right? So now here's the gift that I promised you. So it's a special gift for those of you who are ready to take some action towards your vision of stressing less and aging less. And in between my client sessions and my doing workshops and mini retreats, I do carve out some pro bono time for what I call longevity and vitality strategy sessions. And these are like 30-minute sessions with me. We do them by phone. And I help you see kind of where you are. We look at your vision. We flesh out that vision so that it's clear, because clarity is power. And then I help you identify what's an appropriate next step for you to take, right? And I only have 5 spots available now. So I invite you to apply for one of those 5 spots. And if you would like to apply, all you need to do is send me an email. You're going to send it to my email address. And let's see, I'm going to go over to this last page and show you my email address, zana@zanaclark.com. And just write in there, strategy session, I want one. And I'll set up a time with you. And then, as I said, this is kind of my to you. It gives you a chance to kind of really assess what's happening, where you really want to be. Where's the aging happening in your body? Where's stress showing up in your body? Just like me, it took me a long time to recognize that the corporate life stress and the stress of feeling unfulfilled, like something was missing in my life, was showing up in my body as signs and symptoms of hypertension and prediabetes and cancer scares. And when I listened and I got the right knowledge and I got the right support and I got the right mindset, that was a key part of it, the right mindset, then that's when everything reversed, right? So I want to go back and I want to share with you a story of my client, Patty. And she's given me permission to share this, but Patty came to me because her doctor had given up on her. And she was somebody, she was like 100 pounds overweight. She had prediabetes, she had cholesterol, she had fatty liver, she had anxiety and depression, because Patty was a caretaker, not just for one person, but for an aging mother with Alzheimer's, a brother with advanced diabetes who was an amputee, and a nephew who was autistic, overweight, diabetic, and ultimately was in the hospital for 66 days with COVID. So Patty came to me and she was, needless to say, stressed. She was the sole financial provider for all of those. She worked as an editor and she had work stress, she had home stress, she had serious health issue stress for her health and other people's stress. So she came to me. Her doctor had told her that her only resort was to go and get bariatric surgery. And she went down that pathway until she learned that they were going to be cutting her stomach and that was going to affect her ability to absorb many nutrients. And she knew that wasn't going to work for her. And so she looked my number up and she came to see me. She did this workshop and then she did some of my other work. And as a result of all of that, Patty lost 70 pounds. She reversed her cholesterol. Her blood sugar numbers normalized. Her hypertension was almost normal. She looks great here in this picture. This was about 6 months after she started working with me. And I'm going to share a testimonial that she wrote because it was so beautiful. She said, Zana's workshop gave me the wisdom that I needed for me to care for me, right? To care for me. And now I feel years younger. With Zana's support, I've lost 70 pounds, reversed my prediabetes, my cholesterol. I stress less. She used these words. That's where I got it from for the workshop from Patty. I sleep better and I have way more energy. This helped me reach one of my dreams. I got the new job I wanted and now feel a new zest of life. So, if you want to feel a new zest of life, if you want to have some results like Patty, right, in your body, in your mindset, in your life, you want to learn how to stress less, you want to learn how to age less so that we can continue as midlifers like me. I will be 60 years old, but I can continue feeling youthful. Yes, my numbers will increase, but I can continue feeling useful and being flexible and having agility of the mind and being able to follow my passions and switch careers and do things that I love. I can do all of that, right? I can stress less to age less. So I invite you to pick up your phone, go to email, send me an email to zana@zanaclark.com, write in strategy session in the subject line. I want one, zana@zanaclark.com, X like an X-ray, ONNA at X like an X-ray, ONNA, CLARK.com. And I'll be happy to set up some time to talk with you and we will come up with your plan for longevity and vitality. You too could be midlife and look like this, or 90 and look like this. This could be your story. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have enjoyed this masterclass, this mini retreat. hope you've enjoyed the 5 experiences that I shared with you today and all of this wonderful information. And I look forward to doing a longevity and vitality session with you. Once again, to Zana@zanaclark.com. Send your email, strategy session, I want one. There's just 5. They will fill up fast. So I invite you to do it right now. And I look forward to sharing more information with you. Enjoy the recipes. I'm going to send you a couple of food demos of items on those recipes. So check your email, and I look forward to meeting you. Have a great night. Namaste.